Starting off, let's talk about Mr. Krabs' childhood. If you've watched enough SpongeBob, you know that Mr. Krabs didn't exactly grow up with a silver spoon in his mouth. In the episode Friend or Foe, we see young Krabs living in complete poverty with his mother. And I mean complete poverty. They were so poor that they couldn't even afford to eat at the Stinky Burgers restaurant. Young Krabs had to watch other kids enjoy food while he had nothing. But it gets worse. His mom literally fed him slop. Not like bad food, actual slop that you'd feed to animals. There's a scene where she serves him this disgusting gray mush and says something like, "It's all we can afford." Imagine being a kid and having to eat that every single day while watching everyone else around you live normally. That kind of childhood trauma doesn't just go away, it sticks with you forever. And this explains so much about adult Mr. Krabs. He's not greedy just for the sake of being greedy. He's terrified of going back to that life. Every single penny he hoards is another step away from eating slop and being the poor kid who couldn't afford a burger. But the childhood poverty is only part of the story. His time in the Navy. Now, the show doesn't go super deep into this, but we know Mr. Krabs served in the Navy before opening the Krusty Krab. And while they play it for laughs most of the time, there are some seriously dark implications here. In Shell of a Man, we see Mr. Krabs having what can only be described as severe PTSD from his Navy days. He's terrified of going to a reunion because he's afraid his old shipmates will see him as weak. This isn't just played as a joke. You can see genuine fear in his eyes. Whatever happened to him in the Navy clearly messed him up psychologically. And think about it, military service, especially back in the day, didn't exactly pay well. Mr. Krabs probably spent years risking his life for almost nothing. So when he finally got out and had the chance to make his own money, he became absolutely obsessed with never being poor or powerless again. The Navy took years of his life and gave him trauma in return. No wonder he's so protective of every dollar he earns now. Now let's talk about something that gets overlooked a lot. His relationship with Plankton. Yeah, I know we already mentioned Friend or Foe, but we need to go deeper. Because Mr. Krabs and Plankton weren't just friends, they were best friends. They did everything together as kids. They had dreams of opening a restaurant together. But then something happened. They had a falling out over the Krabby Patty recipe, and suddenly, his best friend became his worst enemy. Now, the show makes this seem like it's all about the recipe, but think about what that actually means psychologically. Mr. Krabs learned that even your closest friend can betray you for money or success. That's a brutal lesson that would make anyone paranoid. After Plankton, Mr. Krabs probably decided he could never fully trust anyone again. And when you can't trust people, the only thing you can trust is cold, hard cash. Money doesn't betray you. Money doesn't steal your recipes. Money is the only reliable thing in the world. At least that's how Mr. Krabs sees it after what Plankton did. We need to talk about Pearl. Now this one is actually kind of heartbreaking. Mr. Krabs is a single father raising a teenage whale daughter. And if you've noticed, Pearl is expensive. She wants designer clothes, she wants to throw huge parties, she wants all the things teenage girls want. And Mr. Krabs, despite being the cheapest crab in the ocean, actually does try to give her those things. But here's the dark part. Mr. Krabs is absolutely terrified that he won't be able to provide for her. In Whale of a Birthday, he has a complete breakdown trying to plan Pearl's party because he's so worried about the cost. But he does it anyway because he loves her. Every time Pearl asks for something expensive, you can see the panic in his eyes. He's not just worried about spending money, he's worried that one day the money will run out and he won't be able to take care of his daughter. What if Pearl ends up like he did as a kid? What if she has to eat slop because her dad couldn't hold on to his money? That fear drives him to hoard every penny, because in his mind, he's not being greedy. He's protecting his daughter's future. We're looking at the endless threats to Mr. Krabs' business. Let's be real. Plankton is literally trying to steal Mr. Krabs' livelihood every single day. That's not an exaggeration. Plankton has tried to steal the Krabby Patty formula thousands of times. He's used robots, mind control, elaborate schemes, everything you can imagine. Now imagine living like that. Imagine knowing that every single day, someone is plotting to destroy everything you've built. You can never relax. You can never let your guard down. Because the moment you do, that's when Plankton will strike and take everything from you. That kind of constant stress would drive anyone insane. And it's not just Plankton. Throughout the series, we've seen con artists, thieves, and scammers all trying to take advantage of Mr. Krabs, the hash-slinging slasher, random customers trying to steal, competitors opening restaurants nearby. Threats are constant. So Mr. Krabs has learned that if he shows any weakness, if he spends money carelessly, someone will use that against him. Let's talk about Mr. Krabs' own guilt and self-loathing. Now this one is going to get psychological, but stick with me. In several episodes, we actually see that Mr. Krabs knows he's too greedy. He's self-aware. In Born Again Krabs, he literally gets a second chance at life and promises to be more generous, and then immediately goes back to being cheap. But why? Because deep down, Mr. Krabs doesn't think he deserves to be generous. He grew up poor, he failed at his first restaurant, he lost his best friend. His entire life has taught him that good things don't last. So when he has money, he can't enjoy it. He can't spend it freely because he believes on some level that he doesn't deserve happiness. His greed isn't about wanting more. It's about holding on to what he has because he's convinced it's all going to disappear. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. He's so afraid of losing everything that he can't actually enjoy what he has. That's actually really sad when you think about it. Next, we need to talk about something most fans don't even think about: the economy of Bikini Bottom. Throughout the series, we've seen that Bikini Bottom's economy is actually pretty unstable. Businesses open and close constantly. The Krusty Krab has quiet days where almost nobody shows up. Competition is fierce. Mr. Krabs isn't running some billion-dollar corporation. He's running a small, local fast food restaurant in a town where fish have the memory span of, well, fish. One bad week, one food trend, one health inspection failure, and the Krusty Krab could be done. He's not sitting on some massive fortune. He's running a business that could collapse at any moment, and he knows this. Every time business is slow, you can see the panic in his eyes, because he understands that his entire livelihood depends on customers continuing to want Krabby Patties. If they stop coming, everything falls apart. So every penny he saves is a safety net for when, not if, but when things go bad. Mr. Krabs' age. The dude is old. Like, really old. In SpongeBob time, he's been running the Krusty Krab for decades. And what happens to old people? They worry about retirement. They worry about having enough money to survive when they can't work anymore. But here's the thing. Mr. Krabs doesn't have a 401k. He doesn't have a pension. He doesn't have any kind of retirement plan that we know of. All he has is the Krusty Krab and whatever money he's managed to save. And he knows that one day he's going to be too old to work. Then what? He'll have nothing. So every dollar he hoards isn't just about greed, it's about survival. He's literally trying to save enough money to survive his old age. Because in his mind, if he doesn't save enough now, he'll end up like he did as a kid, poor, desperate, and eating slop. Except this time, he'll be old and alone with no way to fix it. Something really dark: his complete lack of other interests or hobbies. Think about it. What does Mr. Krabs do for fun? What are his hobbies? What does he enjoy besides making money? The answer is basically nothing. His entire identity is wrapped up in being rich and running the Krusty Krab. This is actually a sign of serious psychological issues. When someone has no other interests, when their entire sense of self-worth is tied to one thing, that's not healthy. Mr. Krabs doesn't know who he is without his money. Take away his wealth and he's nothing. He has no identity, no purpose, no reason to exist. That's why he's so terrified of losing it. Because if he loses his money, he doesn't just lose his wealth, he loses himself. He becomes nobody. Just another poor fish in Bikini Bottom with nothing to show for his life. And that existential fear is way darker than just being greedy. But before we get to the last reason, let me give a quick honorable mention to the episode One Course Meal. This is one of the darkest episodes in the entire series. Mr. Krabs literally torments Plankton so badly that Plankton tries to unalive himself. And Mr. Krabs laughs about it. He celebrates that he's driven someone to that point. Now, this episode is messed up for a lot of reasons, and most fans agree it went too far. But it shows just how far Mr. Krabs will go when he feels his money is threatened. He doesn't just want to protect his wealth, he's willing to destroy people mentally and emotionally to keep it. That's not greed, that's something much darker. Okay, now for the number one reason Mr. Krabs is so afraid of losing money, and this one is going to tie everything together. He's already lost everything before, and he knows he can't survive doing it again. Think about everything we've talked about: the poverty, the Navy trauma, the failed restaurant, the betrayal by Plankton, the constant threats to his business. Raising Pearl alone, Mr. Krabs has been through everything. He's been at the bottom, he's climbed his way up, and he knows how hard that climb was. But here's the key: he's not young anymore. He's not strong like he used to be. If he loses everything now at his age with his health, with all his trauma, he won't be able to climb back up. There won't be a second chance. There won't be another Krusty Krab. It'll be game over. And that's what makes his fear so intense. It's not just about being poor again. It's about knowing that if he fails now, that's it. He'll die poor, having having failed Pearl, having proven Plankton right, having wasted his entire life. Every penny he hoards is a desperate attempt to avoid that fate. When you look at it like this, Mr. Krabs isn't just a greedy villain. He's a traumatized old man desperately trying to hold on to the only security he's ever known, terrified that one mistake will send him back to eating slop in poverty while his daughter suffers and his enemies celebrate his downfall. That's honestly really sad. Yeah, he takes it way too far. Yeah, he's done some terrible things. But at his core, Mr. Krabs is just scared. Scared of being poor. Scared of failing. Scared of losing everything. Scared of going back to being nothing. And that fear has consumed his entire life to the point where he can't even enjoy the success he's built. He's trapped in a prison of his own making, unable to be generous or kind because he's so terrified of losing what he has. That's the real tragedy of Mr. Krabs. He won that he wanted, he escaped poverty, he built a successful business, but he's still not happy because he can never feel safe. So yeah, those are the real reasons Mr. Krabs is so afraid of losing money. From childhood trauma to existential dread, this dude has more psychological issues than probably any other character in SpongeBob. It's way deeper and darker than just, haha, funny crab likes money. Let me know in the comments if you think there are any other reasons I missed, or if you have a different theory about Mr. Krabs' psychology. And because you watched all the way to the end, you might as well hit that subscribe button. Come on, you know you want to. I just started this channel and I'm gonna be making the best SpongeBob content for you. Let's get it.